A lot of people tend to think that shorter documents are simpler and easier to work with. So it can be overwhelming when you first see your will or trust and how long it might be. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about why our documents are so long. First, the documents are written with the end user in mind. That's you and your family. You see, a lot of those shorter documents, they tend to take a lot of shortcuts. For example, when you see something like a power of attorney document, it might have a whole bunch of statutory references where it says something like, my agent's authorized to do all of the powers under North Carolina statute, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you and your family don't know what that statute says, how do you know what the document's really doing for you, right? And this is a recipe for your agents getting bullied by the bank systems and the healthcare systems because they don't know what their powers truly are. So rather than rely on those shortcuts, we like to have everything spelled out line by line in black and white right within your document. Second, we actually take it a step further and add extra language to our documents to help guide your family. For example, a lot of banks really don't like accepting powers of attorney documents and they tend to give your agent some pushback. So we added language to our document to make sure that your agent knows what their rights are and knows how to get that document honored when they need it, and so that they don't get bullied by the bankers. Similarly, in your healthcare directives, we've added extra provisions. A lot of our clients tell us that if they were in some sort of end of life situation, they would rather pass away in the comfort of their own home, surrounded by their loved ones, than to be in a sterile hospital environment. So we added language to our documents to make sure that your healthcare agent knows they're authorized to discharge you from the hospital against medical advice if that's what's needed to honor your medical wishes. The third reason our documents are longer is that they include a lot of backup provisions. Now, we always hope that you won't need these, but we want your family to have them just in case they need them. Here's an example. Maybe right now, none of your beneficiaries have any sort of disability, but that could always change in the future. Maybe they have some sort of health event. And it's very common that folks with disabilities rely on government financial or medical benefits, and an inheritance from you could actually disqualify them from those benefits. So our documents usually include some backup provisions to make sure that this doesn't happen. Without those provisions, your family would be stuck having to go to court and go through a long, drawn-out process to get that sorted out. Another example would be that most of our trust documents allow for what's called a trust protector. Again, we hope you're never going to need it, but it's something we want you to have just in case. You see, the issue is that most trusts continue to operate after you become disabled or after you pass away, and there's always a possibility that circumstances could change. We could have a major law change, or we could have an unanticipated situation with one of your beneficiaries. And we might be in a situation where the trust doesn't make sense anymore or is causing some sort of negative effect like unnecessary taxes. So a trust protector is typically an impartial third party like an attorney or CPA that can modify the trust consistent with your original goals. And the reason we do this is this allows us to be cleaned up privately rather than have to go through the unnecessary time and expense of going to court to get the trust modified in some manner. And then lastly, we supplement those legal documents with additional tools to help your family. If you just pile these powers of attorney and trust documents on your family, they're going to be stressed out and they're not going to know what to do. So again, we try to think about the end user here. When we put our plan together for you, we include instructions for your future helpers. So for example, for your future financial power of attorney, we include instructions about what their role means, what their duties and responsibilities are, frequently asked questions or issues that tend to come up so they know how to deal with those challenges that might come up down the road. And we even give them a checklist of some of the things that they need to take care of. Similarly, for your healthcare power of attorney, we're going to do the same thing, explain their role, explain their powers and responsibilities, or common issues that come up when they're tackling these healthcare issues on your behalf. So we want to make sure that we've set your family up for success and they have all the tools that they need to do their job effectively.